What is an unconventional marriage? The Queen and I discuss Will, Jada, and August Alsina coming up
Okay.
right now. What's going on, guys?
Hey guys.
Today we're talking about some life lessons in marriage.
Yes.
A lot of stuff happening in the Twitterverse. Everybody talking about Will and Jada and some of the things that they've been discussing around the entanglement.
Love that word.
So today we're going to get into it. Tracy and I actually have been married for 30 years, which is actually a bit longer than Will and Jada.
Just a tad.
So we want to bring you some unique perspective into the scenario and how we think there are some lessons here that you can pull from for this time that we're living through.
How many lessons?
I think we're going to talk about 5 today.
We got about 5 lessons, guys. So, when you talk about Will and Jada, you talk about a couple that's been together a long time in the eyes of, let's just say, the Black community and the married Black community. And we wanted to just talk around what developed, how it developed with August Alsina, and how this came to be, and why are they talking about their private life on the Red Table Talk? I mean, on Facebook. Why is that necessary? And we're going to talk about how we relate to it as a couple and as a couple that's been married for a while, and how that affects the Black married couple community and what our thoughts on it. We have about 5 lessons. So the first lesson is
They took one for the team.
they definitely took one for the team.
Right. And so what we mean by that is really thinking through exactly to Tracy's point. Why do they feel compelled to have this conversation publicly anyway, when it's their private business, but yet all of these details have become public? And so I think by them coming out, clearing the air, talking through what happened, their perspective, to give us some insight into exactly what happened as much as they want to do, I think it shows us that they have a sense of responsibility as it relates to their place in society, them being celebrities, them being a wealthy couple, them being a couple that people look to, a couple that has been married for 25 years, a family, a couple that lead family. All of these things, I think, contribute to their sense of responsibility. And so I think essentially they're taking one for the team in this regard, right?
I have mixed feelings about them taking one for the team. I think it's unfair that they have to take one for the team. You know, Brad and Angelina didn't have to take one for the team. And I just think it's unfair that they have to do that. But I think that's exactly what they did. And as a couple, a Black married couple that's been married for a while, like they have, we commend you and we love you for it. And we think that it's going to be okay in the end. We want to say thank you. Thank you for giving us visibility, giving everyone visibility. Let Black Twitter know that it's going to be all right anyway. And that I think the responsibility is in showing that you can be a married Black couple for longevity, even if you have challenges, entanglements along the way.
So shout out to Will and Jada. Appreciate y'all taking one for the team.
We love it.
The second lesson that we think that jumped out was that, most people cannot really get into the mental places, the mental spaces that Will and Jada are emotionally. Their emotional capacity, I think, is a big key here, right? And so what you have to understand is that when people achieve a certain level of wealth in life, that gives you the ability to see and do so many things in life, and it expands your horizons and your mind and understanding of what is possible. And I think as a result of that, you see the world in such different ways, and sometimes we don't all track with you mentally because you're thinking on a different level, in a different plane, in a different space than the majority of people.
He just saying that really nicely. I'm just going to say it because y'all like to come for me anyway on the way I talk. You're not on their level. You're not on Will and Jada's level. I don't care.
No, I think that people who are so quick to levy criticism at them,
you're not on their level.
I think that goes for them. I think that many people who watch this kind of content certainly can absorb it and agree, and even if they agree to disagree, that they can begin to understand it in a certain sense. Because when you have fame and wealth, and you have to, in conjunction with being in the actor space, when you have to regularly expand your mind to bring these characters to life, it begins to take you to places where people can't even fathom, right? And so you have to put yourself mentally in certain places, in certain spaces, just to
just to be them,
just to execute their life.
just to execute not only their wealth, how famous they are, their children, their children's famous, being famous, and the financial aspect of it, and then they have to do it in their brown skin.
Yeah. I think another key piece that we're seeing unfold is their resolution. That's actually one of the things that we talk about in our marriage content, right? In terms of being resolute, that is very clear that they've made a conscious decision,
Very clear,
to stay together, to remain together. We're in this for life, and so some of these things actually are becoming more apparent from previously, when they talked about being life partners and how they had ascended
Yep.
mentally from being not just being married, but to being life partners. And so if we kind of reverse engineer what we've seen come forward, it's becoming more clear that you can see that they've experienced and gone through so many different things, and they are still committed, they are still resolute in staying together, in remaining married. And so from that perspective, I think that's also contributing to what we're seeing. And because
I think it's important to point out that they think it's important to be life partners.
Right.
They think it's important to stay together, not just for the kids, not just so he ain't got to write her a big check, but for the importance of their legacy.
Right.
And we commend them once again for taking that stance and for doing it publicly. It's very clear that they are resolute in being life partners in their marriage.
I think another thing is they bring a lot of intellect to life, and I think that because Will understands the data around what happens each time you're married, and the
Yeah.
statistics show that you're less likely to stay married, or that you're more likely to get divorced once you go from marriage 1 to marriage 2, and from marriage 2 to marriage 3. And I think that's another thing that Will is bringing from his past, is that there was a lot of pain through his divorce that he went through before he married Jada.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important, that he sees that he wants to stay married regardless.
Yeah, they're life partners. They're resolute in it. And this being Will's second marriage, he is determined to be at his last. What's the third one?
I think the third thing that we see unfolding here is judgment, right? There's been such a quick, swift judgment that we've seen from Black Twitter, from the universe. Yeah, I think certainly the Twitterverse and social in general has been very quick to levy their judgment, right? A lot of times it's wrapped in comedy, or the quips that we see socially in terms of what people think. But that can weigh on people, right? Even people
Yeah.
who typically ignore what the Twitterverse is talking about,
Do they
and so
ignore
forth,
it?
or don't let it impact the things that they're executing in life
That we can see.
Right? And so I think that that's one of the things that you see the pain
Yeah.
from the judgment exhibited on, especially Will's face when he was talking through things with Jada. And so that's another thing we wanted to call out.
Yeah, we don't think that pain is from what we think conspired in their marriage. We think that pain is from the judgment that we see going on.
Yeah, the fourth point was unresolved.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the example is
the metaphor, the analogy
is when you want to paint.
If you want to paint a wall.
No, you want to paint a red wall.
Different
color.
If the wall is red and you want to
paint it a different color, you have to prime it and put like 3 coats of paint on it.
Or the red bleeds through.
So that's what you see. You see the remnants. You see the rest.
The residue.
Thank you. He loves that word. The residue of the betrayal. I'm going to say it. And we don't know what that betrayal is. We think we know what that betrayal is. But when you have a marriage like theirs, that they've been together that long, you on the outside have no idea what that betrayal is.
It's very complex, lots of layers, and you don't know what types of agreements that they've made within respect to their relationship. But the point, I think, is the overarching thing is that they are determined to stay together.
So the unresolved that you see, or the residue that you see, is not necessarily what you think it is. It's not about what we think it is. It's about what they know. That's what you see is unresolved.
Yep. You want to do the fifth one? Is what you see unconditional or unconventional?
That's what Will said. He said we have this unconditional love for each other.
Yeah, he says that frequently.
And he says it all the time. And we think he means unconventional.
It's a little bit of both, right? Certainly.
Yeah,
I think the evidence shows us that it's also an unconventional relationship.
Which is fine.
And that's their relationship, right? Everybody is different. Everybody has to approach things differently. So, unconventional or unconditional? Or is it both?
It doesn't matter. That is the point. It does not matter. Whatever you think your marriage is, that's what it is. Whatever you two think you need to do to stay together for a long time and build a legacy for your family, that's what it is.
Right.
It doesn't matter what Twitter thinks.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your family thinks. It doesn't matter what your kids think. It's what you two think.
Yeah, because Heath and Tracy ride together and we die together and we got a good marriage for life.
They want to call it a bad marriage? That's on them. That's fine. That's what they like.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
But your words are powerful.
Words are powerful. But we respect them regardless of what you view or what you think of their marriage. We respect them for wanting to stay resolute in it. So if you like what you're hearing, you can find more at heathandtracy.com.
That's what all the goings on are.
We've got links to our new and upcoming Marriage Money Mindset membership.
It's going to be dope.
There's a lot of M's, isn't it?
It's going to be dope.
And you can listen to episodes from Joyfully Married After, our podcast, on any of the platforms that you listen to your podcast.
Your favorite audio platform.
And we also talk about living in North Carolina quite a bit. So we talk about the pros and cons of North Carolina, and the link will take you there also.
The NC.
So
quick summation, guys. Number one, take responsibility for your union and its longevity. It's up to you. The second one is accept people and their marriages where they are and why they do their marriage the way they do it. Number three, the pain you feel may be from the judgment from others, even more so than from your partner's actions. Number four, betrayal is continually unresolved and reckoning is ongoing. And the fifth thing is, if your marriage is unconventional, it's no one's business but yours.
that's it.
Sometimes, however, transparency in your mess can become masterpieces for others. So remember, guys, stay connected. Stay connected to God, stay connected to your family, and stay connected to your spouse.
Or your significant other.
We love you. Take care.
We love you.
heathandtracy.com.